Hello, welcome to my channel. Read along with me. We are reading The Subconscious Power of Your Subconscious Mind, Mental Healings in Ancient Times. Through the ages, people in every continent, climate, and culture have instinctively known that somewhere there resided a healing power that could restore the abilities and functions of a person's body to its normal state of efficiency and good health. They believed that this strange power could be invoked under certain conditions, and that if it were invoked properly, the elevation of human suffering would follow. The history of all nations present testimony in support of this belief. In the early history of the world, the power of secretly influencing men for good or evil, including the healing of the sick, was said to be possessed by priests, priestesses, and holy people. They claimed to possess powers derived directly from God, and that included the healing of the sick. The procedures and processes of healing varied throughout the world, but they generally included supplications and offerings to the god, various ceremonies such as the laying on of hands and incantations, and the use of amulets, talismans, rings, relics, and images. For example, in the religions of antiquity, priests in the ancient temples gave drugs to their patients and practiced hypnotic suggestions as they went to sleep. The patients were told that the gods would surely visit them in their sleep and heal them, and many healings followed. The devotees of Hecate were told to mix the lizards with resin, frankincense, and myrrh and pound all this together in the open air under the crescent moon. After performing these bizarre and mysterious rites, they prayed to the goddess, took the potion they just compounded, and went to sleep. If the faith was strong enough, they saw the goddess in the dream. This rite, which sounds so strange, even fantastic to our ears, was often followed by healings. People in ancient times worked out many effective ways to tap incredible power of the subconscious mind and use it for healing. Well, they knew that these procedures worked, however, they did not understand how or why they worked. Today we can see that they were using potent suggestions to the subconscious mind. The rituals and the potions and amulets appealed powerfully to the imagination of the people and favored the acceptance of by the subconscious mind of the incessant suggestions given by the healer. But the work of healing was done by the patient's own subconscious mind. In all ages, unofficial healers have obtained remarkable results in cases when authorized medical skills have failed and that patients had given up hope. This gives cause for thought. How does these healers in all parts of the world effect their cures? The answer is that these healings take place because the blind relief of the sick person released the healing power resident in his or her subconscious mind. The more fantastic and peculiar the remedies and methods used by the healers, the more likely the patients were to believe that anything so strange must be unusually powerful. Their aroused emotional state made it easier for them to accept the suggestions of the health in both their conscious and subconscious mind. This point will be discussed at greater length in the next chapter. Biblical accounts on the use of subconscious powers. What things whosoever ye desire when ye pray, believe that we receive them, and ye shall have them. Reread this passage and pay close attention to the difference in the tenses. The verbs believe and receive are in the present, but the verb shall have is in the future. The inspired writer is telling us something of the greatest importance by seemingly minor difference in the grammar of the sentence. If we believe and accept as true the fact that a desire are already been accomplished and fulfilled, it is already completed, then its realization will follow as think in the future. The success of this technique rely on the confident conviction that the thought, the idea, picture is already fact in mind. In order for anything to have substance in the realm of mind, it must be thought of as actually existing. Here, in a few cryptic words, is a concise and specific direction for making use of the creative power of thought by impressing upon the subconscious the particular thing you desire. Your thought, idea, plan, or purpose is as real on its own as your hand or your heart. In the following biblical technique, you completely eliminate from your mind all considerations of conditions, circumstances, or anything that might imply a negative outcome. You are planting a seed in the mind that, if you leave it undisturbed, will infallibly germinate into external fruit. The prime condition that Jesus insisted upon was faith. Over and over again you read in the Bible, according to your faith is it done unto you. If you plant certain types of seeds in the ground, you have faith they grow after their kind. This is the way seeds, and trusting the law of growth and agriculture, you know that the seeds will come forth after their kind. The faith that it is described in the Bible is a way of thinking, an attitude of mind, and inner certitude, knowing that the idea you fully accept in your conscious mind will be embodied in your subconscious mind and made manifest. Faith is, in a sense, accepting a very true what your reason and senses deny. It is dozing down, refusing to listen to little rational, analytical, conscious mind, and embracing the attitude of complete reliance on the inner power of subconscious mind. Here is one of the best known examples of the biblical techniques of healing. And when he was come into the house, the blind men came to him, and Jesus said unto them, Believe you that I am able to do this? They said unto him, Yea, Lord. Then touched their eyes, saying, According to your faith be it unto you. And their eyes were opened, and Jesus straightly charged them, saying, See that no man know it. By saying, According to your faith be it unto you, Jesus was openly appealing to the cooperation of the subconscious mind of the blind men. Their faith was their great expectancy, their inner feeling, their inner conviction, that something miraculous would happen, that their prayer would be answered, and therefore it was. This is the time honored technique of healing utilized alike by all the healing groups throughout the world, regardless of religious affiliations. In saying, "See that no man know it," Jesus was urging the healed patient not to discuss their healing with others. If they did so, they might be harassed by the skeptical and derogatory criticisms of the unbelieving. This in turn might have tended to undo the benefits they have received at the hand of Jesus by depositing thoughts of fear, doubt, and anxiety in the subconscious mind. For with authority and power he commanded the unclean spirits, and they come out. When the sick came to Jesus to be healed, they were healed by their own faith. Together with his faith and understanding of the healing power of the subconscious mind, whenever he decreed he felt inwardly to be true, he and the people needed help were in the one universal subjective mind, and his silent inner knowing and conviction of the healing power changed the negative destructive pattern in the patient's subconscious. The resultant healings were the automatic response to the internal mental change. His command was his appeal to the subconscious mind of the patient, plus his awareness, feeling, and absolute trust in the response of the subconscious mind to the words that he spoke with authority. Miracles at various shrines throughout the world. On every continent in every land, there are shrines at which cures takes place. Some are world famous, others are known only to those who live nearby. Whether celebrated or obscure, the healings that happen at this shrine happen for same reasons and by the same powers of the subconscious mind. I have visited several of the famous shrines in Japan. The central focus of the world-renowned shrine is Diabutsu, is a gigantic bronze statue 42 feet tall. It depicts Buddha seated with folded hands, his head inclined in an attitude of profound contemplative ecstasy. Here, I saw young and old making offerings at its feet. Money, fruit, rice, and oranges were offered. Candles were lit, incense was burned, and prayers of petition were recited. I listened to the chant of a young girl who intoned a prayer, bowed low, and placed 2 oranges as an offering. She was thanking Buddha for restoring her voice. She had lost her voice because it was restored, but it was restored at the shrine. Her simple faith Buddha would give her back her singing voice if she followed a certain ritual, fasted, and made certain offerings had helped to kindle faith and expectancy. The results was a conditioning of her mind to the point of belief. Her subconscious mind then responded to her belief. The power of imagination and blind belief cannot be overstated. A wondrous example of this is the case of a relative of mine in Perth in Western Australia, who suffered from tuberculosis. His lungs were badly diseased. His son decided to help his father himself. He went on to his father's home and told him he had recently met a wandering monk with strange powers. This monk had just returned from a long stay at one of the most celebrated healing shrines in Europe. There he had acquired a small fragment of the true cross set in a ring that dated back to the Middle Ages. Over the centuries, countless sufferers has been healed after touching the ring or the fragment of the cross. When the son had heard this, he had told the monk about his father's illness and begged to borrow the ring. The monk agreed. The son then gave the monk a free will offering of the equivalent $500. When the son showed his father the ring, the older man practically snatched it from him. He clasped the ring to his chest, prayed silently, and went to sleep. In the morning, he was healed. All the clinic's tests proved negative. Healing of this sort happened all the time. Was it most significant about this one is that the son's amazing story was totally made up. In fact, he had picked up a splinter of ordinary wood from the sidewalk, taken it to the jeweler, and had in a gold ring of antique design. He then gave it to his father. Of course, it was not the splinter of wood from the sidewalk that healed the father. No, it was his imagination aroused to an intense degree, plus the confident expectancy of a perfect healing. Imagination was joined to faith or subjective feeling, and the union of the two brought about a healing through the power of his subconscious mind. The father had never learned of this trick that had been played upon him. If he had, he might well have had a relapse. Instead, his tuberculosis never returned. He remained completely cured and passed away from other causes 15 years later at the age of 89. One universal healing principle. It is a well-known fact that all the various schools of healing bring about documented cures of the most wonderful character. The most obvious conclusion that strikes your mind is that there must be some underlying organ and process that is common to them all. Indeed, there is. The organ of healing is the subconscious mind, and the process of healing is faith. Think deeply about this fundamental truth. You possess mental functions that have been distinguished by designating one the conscious mind and other the subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is constantly amenable to the power of suggestion. Your subconscious mind has complete control of the function, conditions, and sensations of your body. You surely know that the symptoms of almost any disease can be induced by hypnotic subjects by suggestion. For example, a subject in the hypnotic state can develop a high temperature, flushed face, or chills according to the nature of the suggestion given. You can suggest to the person that he is paralyzed and cannot walk, and it will be so. You can hold a cup of cold water under the nose of hypnotic subject and tell him, "This is full of paper, smell it." He will sneeze violently and repeatedly. What do you think caused him to sneeze? The water or the suggestion? If someone tells you he is allergic to Timothy grass, you can place a synthetic flower or an empty glass in front of his nose when he is in hypnotic state and tell him it is Timothy grass. He will develop his usual allergic symptoms. This shows us that the cause of symptom is in the subconscious mind. Curing the symptom also takes place in the subconscious mind. Different schools of medicine such as osteopathy, chiropractic, Qigong, acupuncture, and naturopathy all produce remarkable healings. So do the rites and ceremonies of the various religious beliefs throughout the world. It is obvious that all of these healings are brought about through the subconscious mind, the only healer there is. Notice how the subconscious mind heals a cut on your finger. It knows exactly how to do it. The doctor dresses the wound and says nature heals it. But nature is nothing more than another name of natural law and the law of the subconscious mind. The instinct of self preservation is the first law of nature, and self preservation is the foremost function of the subconscious mind. Your strongest instinct is the most potent of all auto suggestions. This was for today. We will meet next time on Read Along with Me. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Bye.